let's go ahead and get into our first review tonight.
Oh, nice segue.
Thank you, sir. I was just stalling for that moment. I know the segue here somewhere. Don't nobody move. But
you stepped on it.
Yeah, don't step. I step on my segue. But people, we got Melissa McCarthy out here right now. Melissa McCarthy is hot right now. That girl, she is a brand right now.
Truly.
I mean, people don't even have to know about her movies. People just see her name on the marquee. They see a trailer. They see a poster. They go wherever Melissa go.
They go like, man, I've been having a hankering to watch a fat woman fall down some stairs, and there it is.
And she got you for that.
There's not a Rebel Wilson movie out right now.
I know. Oh, I know. Yeah, she better watch out. Rebel Wilson trying to get up on that ass right now. That's a lot of ass to get up on. But in this movie right here, she doesn't do as much falling as she does in her previous films because not as much, Martin. I didn't say she didn't do it at all. She's gonna find a banana peel somewhere to slip her ass on after she's eating that shit. But in this movie, she plays a woman, Michelle Darnell, and she is the 47th richest woman in America. So that means she's still in the 1% right there. Except she thinks that she is so untouchable that she does some inside trading. And her ex, who she screwed over in a business deal, business before romance, is the best finance. She says, hey, I don't care about this dude over here. I'm going to do what I want to do. And he says, oh, yeah, well, I remember how you screwed me over. And he reports her. She spends a little time in one of those, what do you call those summer camp prisons, those white-collar prisons?
Club Fed.
Club Fed. Mm-hmm. Gets out and realizes everything that she owned has been sold off, doesn't have anything to her name except the assistant that she screwed over, played by Kristen Bell. And that's the only person that she knows that she can go to actually seek help. So you get the fish out of water story of the rich 1% now having to slum it with the rest of us poor saps out there. Now, as I was saying, Melissa McCarthy, thinking about Melissa McCarthy movies, if you talk about any of her films, they might be good, they might be bad, but everybody says, well, at least she's funny. At least she's a comic genius. I've heard that said, except for Tammy. Everybody says they're in agreement. She was an obnoxious bitch in that. But in every other film, they says, hey, you know what? I love her, even if the movie's not that great. Did you see this movie?
Yes, I did.
I'm looking at this movie right here. To say that it's artistically lazy is one thing. It's artistically selfish on her part. Melissa McCarthy, many might know that she has a husband named Ben Falco. Mm-hmm. And even this character was created at a time that she met her husband back when she was in a comedy improv troupe called The Groundlings. And that's her and her husband apparently after a 24-hour coke bender. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but her husband of many years must love this woman. He must dote on her something fierce. He directed her in one movie. It was Tammy, which did not do that well. Now he's directing her in this film. And in this film, which is written by her, directed by her husband, it is all about her. If the camera ain't on Melissa McCarthy, then everything else ain't shit. This is a movie where if it ain't on Melissa McCarthy, it's redone, rehashed, and reshot out. The scenes where it's just left for her to do what she wants to do while the camera just lingers on and on her, like the part that you saw when she was trying to get her teeth cleaning. Mm-hmm. You remember how that shit went on and on? It's just, improv people come in with this mentality of, you know what, if it's funny to us, then we just gonna keep doing it.
It's hilarious. It's like that classic comedy gag. Who's on the ace-hole?
Who's on my baseball?
Who's on the ace-hole?
Who's on my baseball?
Oh, no. I think it's who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third, right?
I think that's...
No.
I think you're on the ace-hole.
Who's on my baseball?
Hershey's.
Oh, Negro, shut your ass up. He's the only one laughing at this shit. You said if you can't see it, she's getting the teeth whitening. The joke is like she's got all of her teeth exposed, so that's why you hear like, nyang, 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 nyang. And as you hear, the joke is that she can just make anybody do her bidding or, laugh at all her jokes, and that shit goes on and on.
Well, that gag right there, that's indicative of way too much of the movie, where there's a sight gag there, her with the extender in her mouth where you can see all her gums and her teeth. It's funny when you first look at it, or funny-ish, mildly funny. But instead of like just like going like, hey, we had a good sight gag, let's move on to the next thing. They go like, oh, somebody smiled. Well, let's just keep this going and keep it going and keep it going.
Oh, yeah.
And the movie does that with everything.
Let's beat this dead horse.
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, and it's horses that are already dead. It's like anything that seems like it could be sort of funny, they run it into the ground.
And somebody does laugh. There was a dude in the movie. You talking about a dead horse? There was a dude in there just stomping like a horse, just laughing. Ha!
It was.
And we was, I mean, the only time we laughed in the movie, we were laughing at that dude.
We're laughing at him. One of those times where like somebody's talking all through the movie, I'm about to tell him to shut up, but then he was just laughing so hard. I'm like, damn, he's enjoying himself too much.
Yeah, let somebody have it.
You're right,
just
my
because
man.
I'm mad. I ain't that much of an asshole. I'm only, if he finds it funny, let that stupid motherfucker have it. You sound like a fucking retarded. But this
Y'all made out better than I did, man. The girl behind me was one of those ghetto black chicks. So the whole time it was that joke and it was, yeah, girl.
I heard.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we can hear that episode. We can hear that.
It was like a diversity of stupidity in there because the Indian
Yeah.
one behind me. I ain't even trying to be racist. Apparently, Indian people laugh differently.
They laugh with an accent.
Yeah, laugh with an accent. I was like, what the fuck?
Any movie we go to that's a comedy, like no matter how lowbrow, stupid, unfunny it is, there's always people in those free screenings who laugh.
Oh, who laughed? Who laughed?
And something I did notice is like while people were laughing, the laughter wasn't as loud as it's been at some of the others.
I don't know, because it was pretty loud around me, which surprises me. Because if you ain't Melissa McCarthy in the movie, then you're reduced to being a supporting actor, an overacting supporting actor in a bad sketch. And that includes talented people like Peter Dinklage, who's he's just reduced to being in a costume. Apparently he's fucked up right there. What am I doing to my career? God damn, what'd they do to him on set, man?
I thought he played his role with a plumb. In as much as he was just like, he was dealt a shit hand and he made the best
Well,
of it.
Martin, that plum was pretty shitty if you ask me. Because I didn't like him. All he did was he was reduced to a funny costume and a funny voice. And I think Peter Dinklage is a talented man, but not here.
But the one thing I'll give them credit for
What's
with
up?
him was that they never really brought up his height as
Right,
something.
right.
Like in every movie we've seen him in, and even a lot of the shows we see him in, they always say, "Oh, mini man" or something like that. But in this, they didn't bring it up at all.
You know what?
I think in Pixels they didn't either.
I bet to differ, but you know what? I will do something. I will counter that in a little bit.
Okay.
With my man
Yeah,
right
because
here.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I got
they never bring that up.
Oh, they say did. You just didn't know.
Oh
this
no,
happened.
there was once when they said
I
something.
did. I'll show you how in a little
Okay.
bit. I'll show you. I'm gonna school you, Martin.
Okay.
But
gonna
you know,
learn you.
at least my man, when he's not fucking with the open bar, he came out. He came out pretty good because at least he had something to do. Poor Christian Bale in this movie ain't got a goddamn thing to do here except be a prop for a titty joke.
Let me see this. It's very often a fit issue. Why do these have so much
All right,
play?
well-
Claire, it's like Geppetto.
Maybe if this was some weird fetish porn or something, maybe that would be cool, but this leads to nothing. That scene leads to nothing at all. Except for that little hack story plot where somebody comes in, walks in the room, and captures him in this awkward moment. And I know this is going to sound crazy coming from me, especially considering my I guess my rants that I went on last week, the way I attacked people about my cursing. But I really didn't like the cursing in this. And it's not because I'm offended. It's not because I don't like the cursing.
Because it's lazy.
It's not creative.
Well, it's
yeah.
not creative. You see, when I curse, that's my character. Fuck. You see that's my character. You see how that is me. That's me. I use it to effect. But if this was her character in the film, I would actually think that, okay, that is funny, because this is actually a pretty raunchy film, if you couldn't tell. I think there is a red band trailer out there. I never saw it. I didn't know it was this raunchy going into it. However, she only curses when there's a shock factor to be done. And that shock factor is meant to be done when she's around children. She only really curses when she's around kids. She ain't cursing around anybody else. Why? Because it's going for the lazy thing, or the lazy shock factor of cursing around kids. And I don't have any clips of her cursing, but they try to do other things like, it's almost offensive, like talking about lesbianism around little girls. Oh, that's shocking. If I was a lesbian, I'd be offended.
As you already know, my name is Michelle Darnell, and this is my partner. And by partner, I don't mean like girl on girl kind of stuff.
Whoa.
What's girl on girl stuff?
Well, great question. I love an inquisitive mind. Girl on girl stuff is really just referring to something you're probably going to dabble with in college, but not stick with,
Let's not,
you know?
don't tell her.
Unless you're Hannah. Hannah, you're going to stick with it.
Like that's something wrong. And plus, I mean, we got girls younger than that coming out the closet now. True. You know, we got girls 3-year-olds telling their mama, I want some pussy. But you know, or maybe not.
I don't think that's true.
Or maybe not. You know how my mind thinks. But Mark, what you gonna say? You gonna say something?
Sorry.
Oh, I threw you off with that.
Yeah, totally threw me off.
Okay, while you're gathering your thoughts. The one thing I'll say about that, when you say she only curses around the kids, I thought she did that a lot because her main antagonist was always, with the children in that area. But one of the things I'd say about this movie, I mean, Melissa McCarthy wasn't that great, but all the bit characters that they had surrounding them, like the scout leader there, I thought she did an amazing job. I thought, I'm used to seeing her on like Bob's Burgers and things like that. So I was like, oh, that's her. And so I'm cracking up the whole time while I'm watching her. And a lot of these other people are coming from things like Upright Citizens Brigade and SNL and things like that. Mad TV. Yeah. So like they're doing, the people that are actual, comedians and solely comedians, I thought they did a good job in this.
I'm sorry. Kristen Shaw, who you're referring to as a scout leader.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. And I've seen her do so much better. Like, watching her in this, that was one of the things that pained me. I was like,
really?
I was like, wow, this woman is extremely talented, and it's sad that she's been reduced to something like this.
Is that
just because
Kristen
it's going
Shaw?
to be that's
her.
Kristen Shaw.
Oh, Kristen Shaw, that's her. Yeah.
Like you ever watch Flight of the Conchords? She has a great role on there. You see how much range she has, and she's even on what's the show, Last Man on Earth. And so here, she just makes awkward faces.
The only time that I kind of laughed, and here's the thing, like I don't really appreciate that Melissa McCarthy does the all the fat jokes and the fat comedy. I know that sounds weird coming from me, as crazy and mean as I can be sometimes, but I don't like this whole idea that fat people have different physics than other people.
Sure.
Like when fat people fall, that's
they eat all the time, they fart all the time, and when they fall, it's funny. They don't break bones.
like they don't get
like rubber.
injured. Yeah. Well, they got all that blubber on them, man. They just bounce right back up, don't they? No.
And she used to do that, and we really got sick of it. And then it seemed like she was starting to move away from it, especially with Spy, where it had none of those jokes at all. And it's like, hey, this is awesome. And it's like, oh, it's sad that she's back to doing this again.
Yeah.
It's even sadder that it's her husband directing her to do it.
That is her husband making her do this shit. Oh, well, I don't even think it's her husband. I think she directed this movie. She just giving him a job.
Well, you saw what she did to him in the movie with the tennis ball.
Yeah.
Well, and I heard her in an interview, and she said, like, we were just shooting, and then anytime I couldn't think of anything, I would just fall down on something.
That's what it seems like.
Wow.
No, she actually, the words came out of her mouth. I heard her say it.
And you know something? I normally don't find it funny, but I'm not going to lie. I kind of found it funny in this movie. I don't know why. Just something about people being thrown against the wall where they're fat or skinny. That's funny to me.
Well, that's not so bad. Oh, God.
And then halfway through my laugh, like, and I was like, wait a minute. I've seen that before.
That's all I thought. I was like, you
was-
saw that gag worked, and you just copied it.
Yeah, it was in Neighbors too. And I was like, that's the thing about the movie. I'm telling you, they recycle, they rehash it, they reshit stuff out. Even when I want to laugh at something, and I want to laugh more about her big ass being flung on that wall, but I felt like I was being laugh shamed because I was sitting up there. I started, I saw your eyes shift towards me like, don't you do it.
I have to admit, I did.
He just did it to his leg. Yeah, like your mom in church. Like, you pinching me. Boy, you better shut up.
I wish you would.
I'm not saying that Melissa McCarthy isn't funny at all. It's just that in this movie, because it's all centered on her and for her to do her thing, they missed a lot of good gags right here. The movie opens up with her. The reason why she's a ruthless businesswoman is because she was a woman who was turned down by families after being adopted. The joke is that they would always drop her off like 5 years later, 4 years later,
like,
saying,
fuck this kid.
Yeah, fuck this kid. But we never see why. If we could see what it is that made her so ruthless and why would people return her, that's something that could have been fleshed out. But they can't do it because we got it. That's a child actor playing Melissa McCarthy. We got to get to adult Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, you didn't catch it? It's because she was fat.
Oh yeah, eating all my food. Get on out of here, girl. The other thing is that, like at the beginning of the movie, she's brought out to this to do like a
Tony Stark
a
Expo.
Tony Stark Expo out of Coliseum, which is like a rock concert almost. And when she does that, she comes out with T-Pain. And they just, I know, you look, I already laughing at T-Pain. What the fuck?
He ain't got no scruples. Y'all surprised.
I know, y'all sound shocked. T-Pain? Why T-Pain? Why?
She must have been holding his family hostage.
I got your family in the basement. No, that brother came out for the money, and that makes it even cheaper. He just came out for a money grab, and they could have even made that funny had it been her being the ruthless businesswoman that she is, maybe slapping him backstage or something, being abusive to him because that's her nature, and then they could make something out of the star appearance too. But no, they don't do it. Why? Because the attraction here is her coming out and rapping. Melissa McCarthy rapping. That's the joke. Everything that could have been clever has to come full circle to her, and you miss out on a lot of clever things here. Biggest problem here, she's working with her husband. If you ask me, they wrote this together. He's directing it. He is no Paul Feig. Say what you say what you will about, did I say that right? Paul Feig?
I think Feig.
Okay, okay. I thought I was being homophobic saying that. Paul Feig. Feig.
Now it's
Man,
homophobic.
you were projecting like a motherfucker tonight.
I just want to make sure I'm okay, man.
It's okay to say fag.
Okay. All right.
Or phage or feig or whatever you want to say.
Whatever.
I'm just going to call him Paul F. Paul F.
Jesus.
He's directed her in Bridesmaid, one of her big debuts.
Right.
And a couple other films. And she's in Spy. And so when you have her working with that guy,
He knows what he's doing.
he knows even in some of his worst films, he knows what he's doing with her better than she's being done in this movie right here. Without her working with him, I think her comedy's out there just to flounder a little bit.
Melissa McCarthy is not the best part of this film, even though they make her the main focus of this because, she's the boss. I don't understand, maybe just a different opinion, but I really liked all the extra side characters in there and some of the jokes that they were able to pull out that she basically ended up ripping off to make it come back to her. The other thing that you guys brought up was that them basically ripping off Neighbors and then them also ripping off Anchorman when they had that big fight in the middle of the movie for no reason.
Yeah.
So, basically this movie, it steals from literally every comedy and does not do it any better than anything else that we've seen in recent years. It wasn't Spy, which I loved, and it wasn't Tammy, which I thought was atrocious. With this, I got to give this movie a rental.
A rental, okay. All right then. Well, Martin, you look like, Martin looking at the floor. That ain't a good look. Martin looking for a fuck you on the floor right now.
For me or this movie?
I'm looking for a club to hit you.
I feel like Corey's being generous. Because, the movie, all it does is steals its concepts from other romantic comedies or just comedies itself. And it's gags from other comedies. It's not that it doesn't do them any better. It does them worse because it half-asses everything. Every scene is half-assed. It doesn't really sell itself on anything it's trying to present. Yeah, she's an awesome businesswoman, but we don't really get in touch with that.
Yeah.
She's a bitch businesswoman, but then she's arrested right away, so we don't even really get that. The whole commentary it sets out to make about a rich person trying to live like normal people. It doesn't even really do that. Like anything it gets into, it bounces back out of before it lands.
It gets right into a story about her making brownies and getting her wealth back. Like she never experiences. They never really fully do the fish out of water thing.
They really don't. It's one of these things where sometimes you get a movie that's based on a short story and they extend it, and sometimes it's based on a Saturday Night Live skit and they extend it. And this is like based on just some improv thing they must have done for 3 or 4 minutes on a stage that barely 120 people saw, and just start to expand it into a movie. And so it's so much of it is just like we'll just kind of ad-lib our way through it. We can see her doing that, and none of it really connects.
No,
there's never a scene that feels like it flows into the next scene. It's like, well, we had this scene, and now we have this scene, and now we have this scene, but there's no direct line in how it goes.
Yeah.
It's all Melissa McCarthy all the time. It's like it's just her trying to keep talking until something funny hits. Most of the time it doesn't. I would say I got 2 laughs out of it. One small, one really big. That big laugh I had nothing to do with her. just one side character said something that caught me and most of the audience so off guard.
Talking about the waiter, right?
The waiter, yeah. And that was hilarious. I was like, man, well, maybe if it could bounce off this, was like, no, why would it? Because that guy came on for one scene, delivered a really funny line, and was out of there. And I just felt like, well, man, people like these things. I don't know. Maybe Corey's right. Maybe a low rental, until it got to the climax, when it decided, like, when it should have gone off, and it just said, like, hey, you know what? Let's do a heist. And it's like everything from that point on, that climax, that was serious fuck you territory.
Wow. Fuck you is what you're giving.
No, I'm giving it some more bullshit.
Okay.
It averages out to some more bullshit.
I see the laugh plus the fuck you equals a bullshit.
Yeah, it equals a bullshit.
Okay.
And man, did it bother anybody else that she kept wearing the sweaters on it up to her chin?
I looked that up while she did it.
Okay, because they never mentioned it.
They never mentioned it, and I thought maybe it was just like a power move for her character. I was wearing the certain thing like Steve Jobs.
Right.
But she had on a neck brace the whole movie. So they were hiding that neck brace under turtlenecks.
Oh, I never got that.
Well, I looked it up online. It was like that's why she had on that.
Maybe she needed a different neck brace because nobody wears their sweaters way up to here.
Yeah, I thought it was some joke, but I was like, I don't fucking get it.
Yeah, me either. I was like, okay, if they mention it at some point, I'll let it go. But like, y'all ain't gonna talk about this elephant in the room.
This elephant wrapped around her neck right now. I'll tell you, for me, I don't like improv. And I know these people come from improv, and I'm not holding that against them completely, but this was like being at an improv show that lasted for an hour and 30 minutes that I couldn't leave from. I was pissed off watching this. I hate this movie.
Damn.
I fucking hate this film. I'm gonna tell you right now, I fucking hate this film. Mm-hmm. I hate this film with a passion. But I do understand, you're right. Tried to whistle. I hate this fucking film. But I'm a fair man, and I know this movie is for certain people out there. I know that it's just not me. It's people just want to laugh. They ain't looking for a deep story and shit, and good, because you ain't getting it here. But I know that for the people who do go to see Melissa McCarthy, well, you're getting it. And I'm not going to say that she's not giving you what you expect. She is funny. But for me, I would normally give it a fuck you myself, but I'm going to be fair to you fans and give it some bullshit.
There you go. Here's a gift for you.
Hey, this is my gift to you. Don't you ever say that I'm not that kind, man. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give it to you. The reason I'm going to give it to you is because you're damn near retarded.
Damn. I know. You don't know no better. We feel sorry for you.
You don't know no better. I'm not even lying. That Mr. Horse that's laughing.
He had trouble catching his breath. He was laughing so hard.
I think it says something that when I was walking out, because I walked out a little early, and I said, I got to look at this man.
Well, he was sitting in the handicap section.
Yeah, he was in the handicap section, and he was in the right place, because I looked down at him, and sure enough, it was a senior citizen, mentally challenged man that was doing all that laughing. So hey, it's for somebody, right?
Better than sex for him.
You're better than sex. Because this is the most sex he's getting.
Right, it's been any sex he can remember.
I know it sounds mean, but I speak the truth.
I was there. I bear witness.
Yeah, thank you.